Tell us briefly, what is this blockchain?
See, blockchain is nothing but a ledger book.
Okay.
It's like any accounting ledger book. But the main difference is, for example, if I have to give a loan for you to purchase a cow, then bank has to maintain the transaction details in their ledger book.
Yeah.
Now, the one who sold the cow, they have to maintain the details in their ledger book. And the one who purchased, the borrower, they have to maintain the details in their ledger book. So when we talk about a blockchain, all three of us are maintaining all those records in one ledger book. And the trick of technology is this ledger book is tamper-proof, immutable, and all other encrypted, highly secured, etc.
It's access control.
Access. So, see, the core pillars of a trust model are two things. One is transparency, and the other one is traceability. So, traceability is I should know the source, where it's coming from. Transparency is all of us should have exactly the same information. So, blockchain is one of those technologies that can solve these two problems at scale. Right. So, in a simple language, blockchain is nothing but a ledger book that is distributed among all the stakeholders, but they only have a mirror copy, but it's the same ledger book we all carry.
You have worked with farmers in using blockchain. Tell us a little bit about where that idea started and what was the motivation and the impact later on.
Yeah, see, for farmers, again, it started with banking problem. I mentioned this. To give a loan for a cow, State Bank, would love to give it, but it's too costly for them. Then the other option is to go to a money lender or a smaller bank, which costs too much. Like even if you go for an NBFC, it's 20% interest rate. Right? Now, blockchain idea started there. Then how can you solve this intermediation problem between a bank and a farmer? So the first thing you have to understand the pain points of the bank, which is they need to have information about asset monitoring, and the second one is their future cash flows. And when they underwrite, they should have identity clearly.
Okay.
Right. So the idea is, if I can supply all this data real time to the bank on a ledger book, right, that is tamper-proof and immutable, and bank can observe everything, then audit becomes redundant for the bank. So that was the initial idea, but that got expanded much bigger because I looked at the whole ecosystem of a farmer. See, if you look at farmers' ecosystem, there are mainly four big players. One is the input supplier, then there is an output market, there is an intermediary like a bank, and you have a farmer. Right? So now farmers are a collective called as farmer producer organizations like FPOs. So these are the four entities. Now, if you look at this ecosystem, the one who has got the least bargaining power is the farmer because of small size lands, input requirements are small, so they tend to have less bargaining power. Now we thought that if once becomes a collective, we can solve the problems, but it was not working out for the government. We still did not solve the problem. Then I thought maybe it's the issue is technology on how they can communicate with each other. So that's when I thought they should have an ecosystem platform, and all of them are on the same ledger book. So where farmer has a requirement for inputs. So in other words, farmer needs inputs, not cash.
Yeah.
So as long as they get the inputs on time, they can get outputs on time. And if I can make outputs on time, for the output markets, there is less, risk. They can estimate their, supply shocks. Now, if input requirement from the farmers is known to the input supplier, they can reduce the demand shocks. Right? So now, if there is a facilitator like a bank who finances input suppliers to produce by looking at the demand schedule, because demand schedule is given by the farmers. As long as I have a technology that I can collate all the information about what's the demand schedule and supply it to the input supplier, bank can engage and finance the input supplier, not the farmer.
Correct.
So now input supplier supplies on time to the farmer. And the good thing about this, now farmers have less discretion in terms of the quality of inputs.
Right.
So input supplier would like to, or bank, their keen interest is output should be high. So they give the right inputs.